Hello. It's near the end of the season. I think it's going to end in about 3 days as of this recording. So I'm going to talk about which of the IDs are really good, as we have seen from the Refraction Railway, and maybe which IDs will be still really strong. So as a disclaimer, this is just my thoughts. If you don't like them, then feel free to not like them. Just do whatever you want, because this game is really free to play. I've cleared every content in the game with the base sinners. I've also cleared every content with free-to-play only, so I only use Isang, Shi Ishmael, and one borrow, for example, and I can clear everything in the game also. So really, there's no reason to argue about this too much. Some units are very clearly better than others because Railway has shown us that using strong units in a team is just better than trying to synergize anything. But if you want to synergize, go ahead. You can totally do it. You can roleplay N-Corp, you can roleplay Rupture, you can roleplay W-Corp, and you can still clear everything in the game. But I just want to talk about the ones that have been top performers in Railway and also top performers in farming. It's pretty generic, so I would say that they're interchangeable. There might be some that I rate too high, some that I rate too low. Leave your comments below if you have anything to say about those. Anyway, let's start with base IDs. It's around something like this. So the thing about the base IDs when I was doing the free-to-play clears is that these three here are my kings and queens. Yeah. Outis, need I say more? Odyssey. Skill 1 has 3 coins, skill 2 has 2 coins, skill 3 is a very big hit. It's just solid, and even if you don't like her, you can just spam 2 Paphos Maphos. The Odyssey has a purpose. Crazy good. Shi Heathcliff, whenever I'm doing any farming stages or whenever I'm doing any blunt weak enemy stages, bring Shi Heathcliff. Sorry, not Shi Heathcliff, LCB Heathcliff. Yeah, because he has body sack as a base ego, which is insane. And if you just use the attack up moves and his skill 3, skill 2 a lot, you will just naturally destroy everything that's blunt weak. I used him to clear all of the N-Corp from chapter 3, and I did use him to clear the Roaches, Guido, and I think the K-Corpers. Yeah, he's pretty solid. That's why I rate him a bit higher here. Some people might do something like this, but I think that's fine. It's really whatever. I have a personal preference for Heathcliff because he carried me so far. Hong Lu, well, he has coin power on skill 2 and skill 3, so yeah, that's pretty nuts for base ID because usually coin power stuff belongs to 3 stars, 2 stars. So the fact that he has a 0 as a base can get coin power makes him pretty damn strong. Everyone else, I find that they're either okay or really bad. For example, Ishmael, Meursault, and Isang, they're very, how do I say, like, tanky? They're like tankers and speeders and debuffers. Ishmael only has 1 coins. Meursault has very low damage, but he has a very good ego. Ishmael is around the same, yeah, Snack Harpoon, utility, right? But she only has 1 coin moves on every single move. Isang has Crow's Eye View, but also has some of the lowest growths in the game. I think 0.5 something, it's really low. So his clashing power is not exactly super great. Same for Don Quixote. Quixote's ego is now much better because low base power doesn't really matter when you're at max sanity. It's just that her damage output is pretty meh. It's what, 1 coin, 1 coin, 3 coin. The 3 coin is the skill 3, so it's very rare. So it's not a lot of damage output. Everyone else here, I find that they have some sort of use in damaging. Ryoshu is good for damage. Rodion has Slay, the skill 3 and the skill 2, which is not bad for the K-Corp fight, which I like. And these two also have pretty damn good egos. Forests of Flames and What is Cast, really good. What is Cast was one of my carries for K-Corp in the Refraction Railway. Faust is here because I like representation emitter too much. I use that a lot for any blunt weak enemies, especially since there was a lot of blunt weak and like waves. Yeah, it's waves of enemies. So the AoE from representation emitter really helps a lot. And then Sinclair is pretty okay. He has pretty good rolls, good clasher. I think Crit1 puts him at S tier for some reason, but don't believe that. It's he's just really solid. He's really solid. Okay, anyway. Oh wait, I forgot Gregor. Whoops. Gregor also belongs around here. The fact that he has Legend Domain though does elevate him a bit more than all of these guys, but His skills are still pretty okay. It's like one coin, one coin. He does have Pierce Fragility, which is something I will just mention. He's also a pretty decent healer because his support passive is as long as you have some Gloom, you will heal, which I use to great effect in the F2P run. Using this passive, I was able to keep the Shi Ishmael alive and keep her at 50% HP. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, and then I want to talk about tanks and supports. So, as you can tell, right, this Refraction Railway is really not very friendly to any supporters. The fact is that instead of bringing a supporter, why not bring someone better? Like, okay, Rodion, you're anti-defense. Why not just win the clash with the defense skill instead and do damage so that you can get lower turns? Why bring her to farming when you can just bring more damage to make the farming faster? You see my line of thought is if these characters don't contribute to the damage, then why bother bringing them along, right? Like, okay, I can argue that maybe these three here have good passives. Sinclair is more damage if the enemy has more SP or something like that. This is a healing, and then this is nails support. So these three passives here for the tankers are pretty damn solid. But besides those three, right, I guess it should make more sense if I put them here. Yeah, it will make more sense like this. Yeah, if they don't contribute like a significant passive, then why bring them? I have a soft spot for Yisang though because he's quite fast. He has like 5 to 8 speed. 5 to 8 speed is good for Crow's Eye View, but that's for like F2P or low star runs maybe. Because honestly, why bring this Yisang at all when you can bring like another like Yisang that will give damage bonus? Actually, now that I think about it, this is the only Yisang that gives a clash up. This is clash power up. This one is Poise count +1. And this one is heal SP. Yeah, no. This is probably the better one too. Yeah, okay. Yisang needs a better ID, not gonna lie. He needs to have something that contributes to damage or something along those lines, because all of his IDs, right, are just utility IDs. I guess that's the point, right? That's the point. This one is just damage. It's just damage. So it's pretty alright. Okay, anyway, supports and tanks just have the problem of why bring when you can use someone else. And I think that is shared by all of these characters here. I don't mind bringing like Mariachi Sinclair, but why not bring Ninclair instead? You see the issue here. Like, even if your passive is good, like there's probably someone better to bring along. Yeah, so that's the problem with tanks and supports. Base IDs is more for challenge. These three are the exceptional base IDs, and then now we go up to decent. Okay, so for the decent ones, right? These characters aren't too strong, aren't too weak, which are these fellas here, and yeah, like that. This looks about right. So for these characters, so Shi Heathcliff, right? I remember my previous list I threw him here, but his clash power is pretty okay. I just hate him because his kit is it's 25% instead of 50%. If he was just like his Shi brethren, he could be up here. But he's not, he's 25%. And there's no ego that supports this playstyle yet, so he's so bad, but at the same time his clash power is decent because of the 95% sanity change. So I reluctantly put him here. This is extremely reluctant. Okay, anyway, so the rest of these people here, right? It's not that they are weak, or it's more like there are better options for railway and farming. Like, okay, I can roleplay the burn team, right? But why use any of these when I could bring KK Hong Lu, TT Hong Lu, or bring G Gregor? You see the issue again? It's suffering the same problems as tank supports. So if you go to Refraction, Railway, or Farming, bring someone that does more damage. Or if you need these typings, like you need Blunt and Ref, and you need Blunt and Ref, bring them along. Then they will actually be able to do more damage. But most of the times, right? I mean, you've seen KK, you've seen TT. These are the classics. Like, it's very hard to justify bringing like Liu Hong Lu. Gregor is fighting G Gregor, and G Gregor has some pretty damn solid damage. So there's no way you take Liu Gregor over this unless you're trying to, I don't know, clear something that's weak to Blunt, maybe. and you need to bring this Gregor for a passive or something along those lines. Yeah, so it's hard to argue for the burn team right now. I mean, there's a lot of hope in the future because we've seen we're getting the Bull Egos for Meursault and the Bull Ego for Ishmael. That gives me hope that Ishmael is going to get a burn ID in the future. So I am very excited for that. Ishmael also has other Blossom Star, which is also a burn ID. Burn Ego. And I am really looking forward to whatever this Ishmael is going to be. I have a small, faint hope that it's going to be Xiao ID maybe. This is very hope. It could just be Liu section Ishmael or something along those lines. So, but I have like some hope that it's going to be Xiao, and then I'll be like, whoa. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the burn team. And then we got the N Corp team here. The problem is here, right? Why would you bring N Rodion over like bringing someone else stronger? It's good to have the nail synergy. It's just that why not bring like Ninclair, LCB Ishmael, Reindeer Ishmael, all the other blunt guys, you know? You can even bring base Heathcliff or something because actually his body sack alone will carry. And Rodion is really good for K-Corp. I use her for K-Corp because I wanted to use what is cast and I want to use her blunt skills to kill the K-Corp guys. So I did use her for that. Some people don't like Rodion, which is, yeah, I mean, understandable really. When you're competing with so many other better units, it's really hard to justify bringing these units here who are not too strong, not too bad. Yeah. And Corp Heathcliff has some of the best debuffs in the game. Coin power down is very good. And he applies nails as well, and he has some really funny names on his passive. And I am chalking that up as a buff because he has one called Bollocks, I think, which is really funny. But still, he's fighting this guy, you know, he's fighting this dude over here. This dude, yeah, it's really tough to justify bringing him also. But role-playing wise, I do love running 5 N Corp. It does make me feel like I'm purging some heretics and stuff, so it's really nice. But yeah, justifiable, maybe not so much. Okay, and then we got the Poise gang here. Poise, once again, suffers from... like, why? If Poise did more damage, then I could justify it, but at the moment, like, Poise is either weird or doesn't contribute enough damage to build a whole kit around Poise. I think Poise as a side status that you can get over time, and that's not your main damage output, is very good. If your coin numbers for these characters were really good, and then you add Poise on top of that, then yeah, that's great. But their actual rules aren't super amazing. I mean, okay, if you talk about skill tree for Sinclair, then Tame Your Bones is really, really high rolling. So you can win a lot of clashes with that. But at the same time, why bring this one when you can bring this one? You see, same problem again. Oh wait, sorry, I forgot to put Don here. Yeah, so Don also same as the others. I love running her with the N Corp gang for roleplay, but otherwise, why take this when you can bring this? You feel me? Yep, okay, so the Poise gang here just suffers from the fact that they don't have really high rolls. Okay, no, that's wrong. They do have high rolls, just not enough explosive damage output as the gods and the pretty strongers. Yeah, so these guys, not too strong, not too bad. I use them for roleplaying, and I don't really use them for actual like speedrunning content or speeding up my farms. It's always bringing the 3 stars or like a specific 2-star, which I'll talk about quite soon actually. Okay, so we got the pretty strongers here. We got Corp Faust, Shi Don, Ryoshu, Wakashu, Shi Ish, LCB Ish, and 7 Section Outis. Yep, that's it. Okay, so for this one, I think some are pretty straightforward, and some people might not understand yet. So for Corp Faust is really, really strong. For her, I'll actually go and look at her stats. So if we go look at Corp Faust, right? Just look at skill tree. 4 plus 8, 2 coins, so +8 +8, and then you got coin power +3. Remember what I said about Hong Lu having coin power? Well, this is another one that has coin power, and if you have coin power, you're more or less crazy, because this means, right, you get a +3 here, and you have 2 coins to roll. So if you were to not take damage last turn, And then you did 4 plus 8 plus 3, so 11. Then 11 times 2. That's a lot of power. A lot of power. And inflict rupture after you hit the second one. So wow, that's insane of a skill. And then we look at skill 2, which is also pretty damn strong. That is what, 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So that's 7, 10, 13. That's 13 power. And then you gain poise, and gain haste. Like, even if it's not about the poise, right? Like I said, if poise is your main thing, then you're not very good. But if poise is like your side thing, and you have good numbers to say like, oh yeah, this skill is great on its own, but I add poise, wow, it's even better. This is the case where yes, poise is good here, because poise is just adding on to this, you know, like, oh, okay, I could crit in the future, and even if I don't crit, the move is still good. And look, 4 haste. Why does she get 4 haste? Kind of insane. Yeah, crazy good unit. And the reason why haste is so good, in case you didn't know, is that if you are faster than the enemy, you get to choose which move you clash against. It gives you agency. So because of that, against enemies that are also really fast, like Wolf, I think he can go up to 5 speed, 6 speed sometimes, with the extra haste that you get. And then Corp Faust, base speed, you'll be able to usually outspeed and choose whichever one of the moves you want to clash. So really strong to have haste. But besides the haste is the damage. The damage is pretty damn strong. Okay, and then now we got 7 Section 6 Ryoshu. This one was not too obvious to me at the start either. I just kind of liked her design and her moves. But actually, when you look at her numbers, it's actually pretty damn good. 4 plus 12, when you have 95% chance to roll hits, this is just going to win you a lot of things. It's up to 16. And then here we got Swash. And these two moves here are insane. First off, if you look at Swash, you want to clash this every time because it applies 2 slash fragility, and then on hit you apply 2 slash fragility next turn. When you clash win here, it adds on to this, I believe. So that means you will get 5 slash fragility next turn. So next turn, you get all your slash people, you rip space, you hack, you do whatever slashy moves, mutilate, just dump all of your slash moves on this, and boom, that's 50% extra damage due to how slash works. 1 count of slash fragility means you get 10% more damage from slash. So yeah, really strong. Growth rate really high. Speed is also 3 to 7, which is pretty high as well. Deals 10% slash damage this turn. Great passive. All you need to do is own it. And then you can also get this passive here, this support passive here. 1 ally with the lowest max HP inflicts +1 rupture. So it's also quite a good rupture support here. So yeah, overall, this unit is just stacked. Very strong, just not as strong as the gods. We got Wakashu. And Wakashu unfortunately feels like she's fallen off. A little bit of power creep, but she is still core for bleed if you are going for a pure bleed strat. So here's the thing, right? If, let's say the new mirror dungeon, right? If you get the bleed stuff and then you run her, you're probably going to just kill everything with bleed. This is my anticipation. So I think if I can build a team of bleeders and I go into the dungeon, I take like something like Gossipium. I can't remember the other bleed ones. There was a lot of bleed bleed ego gifts, and we're getting 45 new ego gifts, right? I see a lot of potential for this bleed stuff here because there was a lot of bleed stuff, and we can also do like what KK Hong Lu, Wakashu, Ryoshu, Rabbit Heathcliff also has bleed. And then other bleeders, the nail gang also, we can just throw the nail gang in to support the nails. So there's a lot of strats I'm foreseeing for Mirror Dungeon 2, especially with Wakashu, because Wakashu is the only character that actually applies this +3 bleed count here. And her coins are pretty damn strong. Her growth rate is pretty decent as well. 0.79 is not too low. 0.8 seems to be where all the really powerful IDs are, but this is also pretty damn solid. So 8 plus 4 plus 2, that is what? That's 8 to 16, pretty damn good. This is 5 to 15, pretty damn good, yeah. And then this is 5 to 11 with Inflict 3 Paralyze. Inflict 3 Paralyze is fine if she can outspeed the enemy this turn and someone else clashes him. Not too bad, really, not too bad. It's just this bleed count stuff is the main reason why she is really strong, because this is basically a requirement for bleed strats. Although now that we have nail, maybe it's not too big of a requirement, but it's still like raw +3, so would be quite core for future bleeds still, I think. Even if you were to run a 5 Corp gang, you apply... you would need to apply quite a lot of nails to get the equivalent of this. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not too sure on this anymore. +3 bleed count. Is that worth it, or should I rather just run nails? That is the question. Because I have a lot of nail support now with the release of the Encorpers. Well, we'll see. We'll see when the Mirror Dungeon 2 comes out. But still, for now, her numbers are still good. It's just that whether she's going to be core for bleed, I am unsure now, because Encorp actually has a lot of support now, and nails is also a support for bleed count. So, a bit trickier to say. I just want to see the Mirror Dungeon, and then I'll do my own testing, and then I'll figure it out. Alright, anyway, Don. Don is someone that I rated pretty damn low at the start, but I've come to like quite a lot. So Don, the reason why she is so good is, first off, nice passive, right? One ally of the highest speed deals 10% slash damage, so in the future we could get her as a support for the slash team, comboed with the 7 Section Ryoshu. If we can combo this with that, it's pretty damn strong. And the main thing why she is so good now is the 95% chance to roll hits. Once upon a time, this was a meme, and now it's not so much a meme anymore. There's a 5% chance to get the 4, but if you do get that, you just kind of cry. This 10 plus speed thing is still a bit trickier to get to, but it's not the main reason now. 95% chance to roll a 25 is always welcome. And then this dual strike here is also really strong. It is base power 4 plus 6 plus 6. So that's about 4 to 16 range. And then this is a bonus. It's nice to get. Ideally, you would want to bring her for like maybe mirror dungeons or railway, where you try and get her to 50% and then you can trigger this a lot more, but that's like super ideal. You don't even really need that. Her base clashing power is pretty damn good. Having envy here is quite strong in this refraction railway. I think quite a few enemies are weak to this, quite a few enemies are weak to this as well. So these elements wise are pretty good. Poise is once again added on as a bonus. It is not her core kit, but it is nice to have onto her core kit. So her core kit is just good numbers here. If you get to 50%, you go even faster, and then you just gain Poise. And the fact that it's next turn Poise is really good, because next turn Poise means that you will not be wasting or losing your 1 Poise charge that you gain this turn. Next turn means that, yeah, I'm getting this 1 Poise next turn, and it's guaranteed to not decay. Yeah, so pretty good to have next turn stuff. Overall, this unit has grown on me. I used her quite a bit in the Hell's Chicken dungeon, because Overbrief and Dual Strike are both slashy moves. So against the chickens who can roll like maybe... How big was that range? Like 4... It was like 4 to 16 range or something. They roll really high numbers. Overbrief usually just wins. And Dual Strike always has a very solid chance of winning them as well. So I really like having the high caps here. The high caps mean that you can win against enemies that have really high rolls. So yeah, I've grown to like her. Okay, and then we got Shi Ishmael. If you've seen my run before, where I used Shi Ishmael to beat all of Refraction Railway, what I did was I just dropped her to 50% and I ran her down, because this skill 2 here is actually insane. At less than 50% HP, use coins 1 and 2 an additional time. This is a conditional Cloud Cutter, but is way better than Cloud Cutter. And she gains Poise count. And if you have this effect here, you gain 2 of these and 2 of this. So you get 4 Poise count every time you use Slashing Strike. And if you can give her more actions, then she'll use this twice, and now she has a billion Poise. So her kit is actually insane. This Catch Breath here, it rarely triggers because I use Gregor's passive healing, but in the future it's still nice to have something like this to help you get back to about the 50% mark. Yeah, so it's pretty... this character is so fun to use when I was using her in Railway. For farming though, not so good. Mirror Dungeon might be very good in the future. I will be trying her out as a F2P team for the Mirror Dungeon because I think Mirror Dungeon will carry over your health. So I think tanking her health at the start of the Mirror Dungeon and then running her down the rest of the 5 maps will be very, very strong. So I'm going to try her out for that one as well. But for farming, it will take too long, so there's no point. Might as well bring someone else who does more damage. Yep, so personal favorite. I like her a lot. LCB Ishmael. I hate her and I love her. So LCB Ishmael is part of his strat. The strat is I'm going to suppress the enemy one time, inflict 5 fragile, and everyone else is going to dump their skills on this guy. The problem with that is this here: 2 to 6 speed. 2 to 6 speed in a world of 3 to 7 is usually the average. It is very rough to get the ideal situation for Ishmael. What the ideal is you want her to be fast, you want to go first, apply the suppressed, and then you want someone like Rabbit to go after her to benefit from the fragile and apply his own fragile, and then you dump the rest of the cooldowns with the other 3 units you brought or the other 2 units you brought. Yeah, because usually I think people do try to give Arheath a second action so he can do quick suppression twice. So this is the strat, but it is a super RNG strat and I hate it. I will mention that she is really strong because of the counts that she applies. I think she's one of the only characters in the game right now that applies 2 rupture count, so that is a net positive amount of rupture count. I think that's the only one of its kind so far. I think Ebony Stem is the only one that can actually give you more rupture count. Yeah, I think Ebony Stem is the only one that can actually make it to this +2 level. But Ishmael has it alone. Like, this skill tree is just alone. You just use skill tree, you get the rupture, and then you get the fragile at the end. So I will mention that she's strong because I really like this status here. In the future, I think Dimension Cutters will benefit a lot from this. And then Tremor characters will benefit a lot from this. So overall, one of my favorite units, but also one of my most hated units, because I did try to use her in Railway and I just gave up because holy shit, man, 2 to 6 speed and then you need to go faster than your Rabbit. It's kind of insane. I cannot figure out a strat for that. Some people also opt for Rabbit first and then Ishmael, which is less damage, significantly less damage, but it's at least, you know, you get the 9 frag or you get the 10 frag. Yeah, fragility was very important for Refraction Railway to get Lutens. So this skill here, the fact that it's loaded with so much stuff makes it a godly skill. And then this one is just Tremor stuff. Tremor in the future, maybe you'll get more support. Because right now I think Tremor is relatively weak-ish. I don't see like anyone purposely building for Tremor at the current state. I think maybe an enemy in the future where the stagger bar is really far away and we must stagger him to win might be something where we want to build Tremor in its current state, unless they bring some like buffs. Maybe like you burst the Tremor and you deal bonus damage. Something like that would actually help Tremor a lot to become a viable status that you build around. But yeah, as you can see, lots of overloaded kits here. Very, very strong unit. Problem is 2 to 6 speed. Yeah. Alright, last one is 7 Section Outis. And the reason she's not higher is I think her damage output is not super amazing. I think she does respectable damage, but it's not as explosive as the gods. Like, this is 5 to 15. That's not too bad. And then this is 6, 12, 8. Sorry, this is this is 6, 8, 10, 12. 12. Yeah, 6 to 12. Like, I mean, we all know why she's great, right? She has -2 clash power here. -2 clash power on this kind of moves is just free wins. +1 rupture count here is a replacement, so it's not bad for rupture. She can just do extra damage and then reapply the rupture count that she just consumed. And then we have the skill tree here, which has weakness analyze. So the actual real reason I like to bring Outis in my runs, right, is because of this. It's 4 Gluttony Own, which is not very hard to get, especially if you're going to use Ledger Domain, so you will charge up a lot of green energy for Ledger, which naturally will help you to own this. One ally with the highest speed deals 10% damage when attacking a target. It's just free, you know? It's free damage. One ally with the highest speed, so if I brought like what, Rabbit Heathcliff, a lot of enemies are weak to pierce, boom, that's free damage. So I actually like putting her on the bench. But She does generate good elements. So legit, the main elements are actually all generated here. And she's just pretty good clasher, yeah. There's nothing really like amazing to say about her. 5 to 8 speed, great, amazing passive, and the skills are respectable damage, but not explosive damage, which is the real reason why she's not used too much. Actually, no, now that I think about it, the reason why we use this one is also because Ebony Stem. Yeah, because Ebony Stem also requires some of these elements here, and we use this Outis on the field, not for the passive, but for Ebony Stem, and not really for any of these moves here. Like, okay, good, you win the clash, but you're not doing enough damage to justify bringing you. But you do have Ebony Stem Ego, so you do help to charge that, and so I will bring you along so that you can help charge your Ebony Stem Ego for the future bosses. So I think that was the main reason why they brought her to Refraction Railway. For farming, I think there are better options, but she is respectable. She's a good option. I just would not take her over someone else. And I even have a personal love for base Outis rather than her, even though that's a complete meme. I just like base Outis too much already. I've grown to love her too much. But this one is very, very strong. Yeah, very, very strong. In fact, I probably put her too low here. Overloaded kit. Oh shit, actually, it's really hard to tell. I think it's really hard to rate these guys in like left to right order. Yeah, a bit hard. I'll just leave it like this. I think as a disclaimer that I'll add later on at the end or at the start in like text, I'll just say I won't be arranging the rest of these upper tier classes according to how good they are. I only arrange for the tanks and supports and base IDs, because this one is more like I group them by their typing. It's Burn, Nail, and then Poise. But then below here, there's distinctly better ones than the rest. Yeah. But here, the gap is much lower. Like, there's many situations why you want to bring a character. You want to bring for the elements, you want to bring for the ego, you want to bring because they're good, you want to bring because you have a certain strat you want to do. Yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. So it's very hard to justify. But at the bottom, easier to justify. Alright, now then, let's get to the gods. The gods of Limbus Company are just the people who are left, right? So it's Don, KK, TT, Rabbit, Reindeer, G Corp, the one who grips, Chef, and Ninclair. Some people even argue that G Corp's not supposed to be up here because these guys are all built different, and I can see that happening as well. I just leave them up here because honestly there's no Gregors up here, so might as well throw him up there. There's no Ishmaels up here either, so throw Ishmael up there. These are very strong characters. Maybe Gregor is the only one that goes down here, now that I think about it. Yeah, okay, so Gregor, right? Let's start with Gregor then. Gregor is strong, but also not as explosive as the gods. So for Gregor, right, like this Clash Wind hack is amazing. 40% extra damage, healing, inflict rupture, healing again, and then rupture, 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 and then healing again. So overall, you see there's a trend here of him having really good coins. He has so much healing, and he benefits off of rupture, a lot of rupture. So I would say that Gregor is more of a rupture punisher. The problem is that Eviscerate consumes like 4 counts of rupture, so you will need a lot of rupture application, which is coming soon with the dimension cutters and maybe the IDs that will follow the dimension cutters. So maybe we could use Gregor as a Eviscerate rupture exploiter. So we apply the rupture and Eviscerate exploits the rupture to do bonus damage. So I think maybe something along those lines could be very good in the future, but as of now, there is no specific strat for him. He just has really great coins, really great sustain. He has an amazing support passive here. The ally with the least HP heals 5 HP after winning a clash. Absolutely monstrous. And then this one is just, if you're less than 25% HP, you heal 5% of your max HP. Like, okay, sure, you know, like, sure, this man just won't die. He's a roach, he's a cockroach. That's his team, and so he just doesn't die. Really good, really good. But if we go up to here, we see the real monsters of Limbus Company. So let's talk about Don. I don't know if I need to say anything about Don. At this point, people should know, like, Teleport Don plus Rip Space is just insane. Oh, I only have Rips this turn. Let me Teleport Don, get 10 charge. And then after that, I will do one move and then I'll rip space. Boom. Or let's stack up a bunch of actions onto W Don and I'll just leap multiple times and inflict a bunch of fragile and charge up for my future 3 rip spaces. Rip space is an insane move with a really high damage amount. It has coin power, so like I said, if you have coin power, you're probably busted. Because a lot of the characters with coin power are really strong. So gain +4 coin power here. So he has 5 coins and each coin is +2. So each coin is +6. So if each coin is +6, that's 5 times 6, that's 30. 30 plus 1, 31. Did I do the math correctly? No, wait. Okay, no, I did do the math correctly. That is 30 plus 1. It's just that you need to find an enemy that's weak to slash and weak to purple as well. It's just really strong, you know. I don't think I need to say anything. W Don has been used for so many strats at this point. If you've seen a video of W Don being used, she is crazy good. Crazy good. I think the only thing you might not want to use W Don for is if you are too lazy to like keep track of charge. Like if you were autoing Mirror Dungeon or autoing farming and then she accidentally uses Rip Space, well shit, she doesn't have 10 charge, so that sucks. But if you are Refraction Railwaying, then hell yeah dude, Rip Space all day every day. Or Leap. Yeah, Leap is also inflict 2 fragile. We know how valuable fragile is. Yep. Just a very strong unit. KK Hong Lu. I think KK Hong Lu is the only 2-star up here, and yeah, he's crazy, dude. He's crazy. Okay, so let's get the elephant out of the room, right? He has a very low growth, so actually his clashing power is not too amazing, but his coinage is still pretty damn good. 5 plus 4 plus 4, that's a 5 to 13. 5 to 13 is not too bad against a lot of enemies in the game. Growth level might affect a little bit of the clashing power, but still, even if you just hit one-sidedly, this character can just ignore the clashing part and then do a billion damage. It's the same like Shi Ishmael, except it's more or less unconditional. The target just needs to have less than 4 bleed count, and then you use coin 1 and coin 2 an additional time. Really strong. Insane move. Like everyone knows Cloud Cutter at this point, right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Attacks you 4 times, inflicts a bunch of bleed, boom, you're gonna die. And Cloud Burst is no sleeper either. It's 3 coins or +2, so that's 6 plus 6, that's 12, right? Yeah, that's 12. That's 12, and then this skill inflicts 1 additional bleed and paralyze. Here's 3 bleed, and 6 paralyze. LOL? Yeah, it's an overloaded skill, good range, good damage on Cloud Cutter, crazy good unit. Enemy weak to pride or slash, you bring, boom, he's dead. Simple. Alright, Ting Tang. So Ting Tang is a bit more specific, right? So the reason why Ting Tang is used in Refraction sometimes is for the waves, because you Mutilate, as we all know, if you can kill someone with Mutilate, you use this skill one more time. But there's another one. His passive is kind of nuts. If you own 5 Gluttony, which if you're using Ebony Stem and Legend Domain, you probably need some Gluttony, so you will be generating it. And then you get this. One ally with the most SP deals plus 20% damage with hit coins. As long as you're not Ninclair, which it won't even hit because of this part anyway, the most SP, you just get a free 20% damage. That is ridiculous. I didn't even know this one was here until I read someone say his passive is insane, and then I checked it and I was like, whoa, this is ridiculous. There's no one else that gives 20%, I think. It's only 10%, and then this guy is just like, here's 20%, go win. So yeah, roll hits more, win more. That really is the way that Ting Tang rolls. Roll hits, roll hits, roll hits, roll hits, roll hits. The true gambler. And I think people know about Shank, right? Shank is just ridiculous amount of damage. If you can get them to 25% HP as well on the 3rd hit, that's just 1 more hit, and it just adds more damage if you get hits. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. If you're doing waves, right, this is just so strong. Like, all these skills here are strong. I think the only mediocre one is Throat Slit, because Throat Slit is kind of whatever. You don't really want to be using Throat Slit. You want to just be shanky and mutilating the whole game, or you put him on your bench and you just buff someone else with a lot of damage. Very strong unit. A true god. Alright, then we got Rabbit. Oh, by the way, this top part is also not in order. If not Rabbit, it just goes to the left immediately. Because Rabbit is the king of Limbus. if you are doing any sort of low level running, like low turns on your reflection railway, or you're doing anything like just farming, you bring this dude and now you win because he has this move, quick suppression, coin power +2, inflict fragile and inflict fragile and inflict rupture. What? It's insane. He has 5 coins, by the way. That's the same number of coins as Rip Space. All you need to do is hit 6 speed. This character comes with body sack, so he just gets this for free because he generates his own body sack. Okay, I mean, he generates the purple a little bit, but he will need some other sources. But usually you run like a bunch of NV characters and a bunch of Lust characters anyway, so it's just easy to get body sack. So this is free. This is free, man. Great growth, huge amounts of coins, fragility, hell yeah. And even then, his skill 2 also has coin power +1, so it's also busted because it's 4 coins. And then inflict bleed. So yeah, crazy strong unit, man. It's a crazy strong unit. It defines a lot of our farming, a lot of our mirror dungeons, a lot of our reflection railway low turners, because the fragility, it's so accessible compared to everyone else, and this fragility is this turn, so you need him to be fast, which body sack makes him fast. So because of that combo, body sack into quick suppression, you can apply fragility for the rest of your friends to do. It's like the Shi Ishmael, it's like the LCB Ishmael, but this is very consistent because all you need to do is body sack the previous turn. Boom! Now you can do it. While for LCB Ishmael, you need to wait for her to roll the right speed, so it's not consistent. But this one is very consistent, which is why we always run him. And then even if you don't want to run him, you can just put him on your bench and you get this. Why not, right? We can give it to W Don, give it to Faust, give it to... I don't remember. There's a lot of pierce damagers in this game. But basically, yeah, this character is just busted. I don't think I need to say more. I've done so many runs with Rabbit, and I'm sure you've seen many runs with Rabbit. Rabbit is just Rabbit. Reindeer. So Reindeer is a god to me because of the fact that she is extremely strong on solo. This is also really good. Tenacity, it helps in Ninclair a lot because one ally with the least SP deals plus 10% blunt damage. Really strong for Ninclair. Okay, so the main reason why I like her is because she has a dodge. And if you have a dodge, right, it means your soloing is pretty reliable because you can just keep dodging enemy attacks. And then while you're stalling for your 5 actions, you are just going to live that long because evasion is really the only way you can like fully dodge all the damage that you're taking. So you will not get staggered, you won't die. And then when you get your 5 actions, it's time to let her rip or whatever action requirement you need to get. Yeah, because Mind Whip, right? The way Mind Whip works is not like Rip Space. Mind Whip will spend all the charge, and if you are less than 10 charge, you will target a random unit. But if there are none, then you win, isn't it? Because there's no one else to target. You cannot target yourself. That's not how Mind Whip works. Mind Whip will target a random unit. So if there are no other units on your side, hey, that's pretty free. And then you also increase stagger threshold on every single hit, so it's just free breaking. If the enemy is weak to Wrath or weak to Blunt, just give this a try. Like, just bring one Reindeer Ishmael, just dodge until you have enough actions to match the enemy, and then just let her whip. Because holy shit, man, it's so fun. I wish I had one. I only watch people do it, so I personally like don't have the experience of using her, but still, it's so insane. It's not even that hard, you know. You just need to evade until you have enough Mind Whip actions, or you don't mind taking some hits, and then you just Mind Whip them, because nothing else to do. Besides the Mind Whip, of course, she has Mind Strike, which is really strong. It's 3 + 5 + 5. That is a 13, 3 to 13, really good. And then 6 + 10 is 16, 95% chance to roll hits, so really high as well. Growth rate's not so good, but really doesn't matter. Inflicting sinking count is quite interesting. I feel like she is going to be quite important for the sinking in the future. The problem is that, can we make sinking do more damage? The problem with sinking is there's not really a real purpose for it. I guess you can use it on human enemies to make them panic or something like that. But if not, it's just a dot that you apply onto a abnormality and give them gloom damage. It's a bit tricky because we do have things like Ramshank. Ramshank also scales off sinking. And then we have Mind Whip here and Flaying Surge, which applies the counts. So I don't know, we need a little bit more support, I think, for sinking to become maybe kind of good. But yeah, like you just ignore that. Just Mind Whip is just strong. It has 4 coins, a +5 coin modifier. If you're alone, there's no risk here because you can just shoot other people. I really like her. I put her as a god, but not everyone will like that playstyle, so some people might put her down here. So yeah, up to you, really. I personally like her a lot because of that strat, but if you don't like her, just toss her down here then. Alright, Faust. Faust is so good. I love Faust. When I first saw her, I was like, she's gonna be busted. I know it. And yep, I was right. So here we see some pretty damn good coinage. 3 + 2, so that's 6. That's 6 to 12 for execution. 4, 3, that's 12. 4 + 12 is 16. 4 to 16. And then here we see 6. So 4 + 6, that's 10. 4 to 10. So overall, all really good. Growths are really good. 0.82. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. And then Clash Win, target loses 3 SP. Sure, why not? And Inflict Nail, Bleed, Nail, Paralyze, Gaze. On kill, heal all allies, 10 SP, apply 1 pierce damage, blunt damage up. Like, there's so much shit on her. And then Whistles. Whistles is so good, man. Like, especially now that we have the N-Corp team. N-Corp, if you don't know yet, a lot of them have Lust. So getting this is really easy. The fact that it's synergizes with the N-Corp, she's the driver for N-Corp. She applies Fanatic, she heals Ninclair, which is not bad if he's going to go insane. And you can control this because if you have a lot of Lust characters on your team, you can choose to activate this resonance or you can choose to not activate this resonance. It's your choice, which is why it's so good. And times 4 is actually a perfect number so that you don't accidentally have to sacrifice a good move. You can actually run like 3 good moves and then 1 mediocre move so that you don't get this, which is not very hard. It's really not very hard. Like, you can just choose execution over gripping. You can choose like, I don't know, whatever other skills you want. Like, there's quite a lot of skills. Like, I think for Rodion, she has Lust plus Wrath, so you can just choose the Wrath instead of the Lust, for example. Yeah, so it's really not very hard to trigger Whistles when you want to. And I think this cost here is actually quite planned by P-Moon so that you don't always trigger it because you want Ninclair to be low, but you also want to trigger it to make sure that Ninclair is like, oh hey, Chroma's guiding me or something, and then after that he'll just be like sane again, you know? So Whistles is good, and then we talk about gripping, and gripping is like, it's the move. Gripping gives you Gaze, and Gaze is plus 20% damage from Pierce and Blood skills for 1 turn. Actually insane. Because it is Inflict Gaze next turn, meaning that you can set it up on turn 1, and then turn 2, you unleash your Quick Suppression. Because on turn 1, Rabbit Heathcliff would have Body Sacked, and on turn 2, he will have enough speed to Quick Suppression. So if you just reroll until that combo is available, boom baby. That's plus 20% damage from the Pierce, and then Rabbit Heathcliff benefits from it, and then he applies Frigidity for everyone else to benefit from the Frigidity. It's so good. It's so good. Gaze is just ridiculous. It's such a good debuff. Skill tree is nice. It's not like super amazing, but if you can kill someone, then sure, that's good. It applies a lot of nails. It deals more damage to enemies with nails. Sure, lots of great stuff. But Gaze though. Gaze is what we are talking about here. Gazing an enemy and then unleashing all the blunt and pierce you have with Ninclair, Rabbit Heathcliff, W Don with her leap, Shank, Eviscerate from G Gregor, like boom. That's so much damage because of this. The value is insane, which is why she is number 1 in my heart. Alright, then we got Chef. Chef is the latest addition. She's one of the limited units, and she does not disappoint. Woo! When I was looking at them at the first part, I was like, I saw HP percent scaling on this skill tree, and I thought to myself, that's probably going to be busted, because I think Project Moon doesn't know how to code Mystic HP scaling. And I was kind of right. I'm not sure if the math checks out, but I believe there's some weird shenanigans with her ult, with her skill tree. But anyway, besides the weird shenanigans, this is just ridiculous on any boss in the game. So yeah, I have done a Ryoshu solo in the previous Refraction Railway. It was in one of my latest clears. Ryoshu is kind of nuts. Okay, so let's look at her. 3 to 6 speed, below average. After defeating an enemy, heal the ally with the least HP for 15 HP. That's pretty good, right? And then here, when an enemy is defeated, the ally with the least HP heals 15 HP. Pretty good too, not too bad. It's a sustain one. Sustain passives are good, especially when you want to run low team counts or you are purposely taking damage, because then you can sustain the fight longer. PC, pretty decent coinage. That's 4 to 10. 4 to 10 range. And then we got inflict bleed count, gain appetite. Appetite is to increase the healing provided by Rustle Up here. Yep. I'm not too sure of the math on this, but basically if you use PC, you just get a bunch of these and then you just heal a lot more. It's whatever really. You only really need this if you are really low, and in which case you are probably not killing them fast enough. IH, Piercing, Envy, very good for some Refraction Railway bosses. Cough Cough Ada. That is 5, 10, 15, 15, 3 to 18. Yeah, 3 to 18. That's a 3 to 18 range. Pretty high, not bad. Inflict Bind, Inflict 2 Bleed, and if the target has any of these, you inflict 3 HP healing down. By the way, if this coin hits and applies the bleed, then this will also trigger, so it will trigger in the same turn. So it can just do it itself if it wants to. Inflict 3 HP healing down. I tested this on Yasunyata, the final boss of the Refraction Railway, and it does work. This does reduce the healing that the enemies give. The thing is that for that fight, right, you still rather prefer one-shotting them, but with IH though, you can make it a lot easier to one-shot them. So there is great use for this, and a lot of the enemy typings are pretty good for Piercing and Envy in this Refraction Railway. So she was really strong with this IH. Then I Can Cook Anything is the most ridiculous damage on a boss I've ever seen. So first off, you look at the coinage, right? Even without this HP scaling thing here, like, this is just ridiculous. It's 3 times 4. That is that's a 12. So that's 3 plus 12, 3 to 15. Not bad at all. It should win most of the clashes in the game. So if you add this now to this great roll, then it's going to be busted, because boosting damage by 5% of target's max HP, max of 20, sorry, missing HP, not max HP, is just insane. If you can get the tour guide to like maybe half health or something, you apply Fragility, and then you use I Can Cook, the guy's gonna die. There's a strat where you give Rabbit Heathcliff 2 actions, you give Ryoshu 2 actions, and you give W Don 1 action, and you let her get grabbed. Then what happens is that you stagger him using 2 quick suppressions and 2 I Can Cook Anythings, and then the tour guide gets staggered and you kill him. Like, that strat, right, with I Can Cook Anything, it's so good, because the tour guide only has one body part, the body, and it has about 1100 HP, something along those lines. And if you just hit that with this, and he's missing about 500 HP, that's a lot of damage, man. That's a lot of damage. Woo! When I saw that strat, I was like, god damn, dude, how long did it take for you to reroll for that? And then I tried it myself, and I didn't get that close. I think it took me about 8 rerolls to get something similar, but I don't think I had the observation levels or the damage to clear. So yeah, I couldn't get it. I also think my passives weren't there at that time. Yeah, I didn't plan for the passives. But yeah, basically this skill on anything with a huge health bar, preferably on a body part that you will be focusing down, will absolutely destroy them. Absolutely disgusting. I Can Cook Anything. So yeah, overall, very solid character. If you don't have one, go get her, please. Like, she won't be here for Season 2 dispensing or pulling. You have to get her in Season 3, so go get her. This skill tree, right, once you try it once, you probably won't go back again, I swear. Alright, and then the one who shall grip Ninclair. Oh, when I first saw him, I was like, yes, we got the Faust and Ninclair pairing. I'm hoping for some synergy, and there's so much synergy. So fun. I'm glad Project Moon did it. So they even put her in the art, by the way. They put her both in the art. So yeah, you are supposed to use them together. It's really cool. I love it. 3 to 8 speed, great. Very squishy because of this defense, but whatever. very important passive. This passive is extremely important. So, which is why in the current mirror dungeon, the energy does not carry over fully. So you're not able to keep Mad Flame up at all times. So it's actually really hard to maintain a low sanity Ninclair in mirror dungeon. But mirror dungeon 2 promises that we will get no an energy full carryover. So if you get 2 ref at the start, you just keep it for the entire game, and then boom, you're done. So yeah, you can get this. And then this one is interesting because it just gives you blunt damage. It's quite similar to, I think, Reindeer Ishmael. Reindeer Ishmael also gives one ally with the least SP blunt damage. But this one is, if the ally is below 0 SP, you further increase their blunt damage. As of now, we don't really have another tail unit, so this would not affect anyone at this current point in time. But I guess this means, right, with this passive, it means that future tail rollers will be coming out as well. So yeah, look forward to that. So Ninclair is one of the weirder characters in the game. He is a unique character in that he wants to roll tails. Really loves tails. And if you can roll a bunch of tails on him, you'll be rewarded with the most ridiculous damage you've ever seen. Skill 2 is Cloud Cutter, but slightly better. And skill 3 is Rip Space. Yep, that's it. Like, if I just summarize it like that, boom, that's it. He has Cloud Cutter here and Rip Space here. That's why you want to roll tails. If you can roll all tails, right, it's the equivalent of Cloud Cutter and Rip Space. So let's talk about the skills. So as you can see, he's a minus coiner. So how this works, right, if you do not know yet, is that you always have a base power, right? But your base power starts at the max, meaning that if you do not roll a single hits, you will do 16 times the number of coins. So let's say I did not roll a single hits. 16 times 4, that's the amount of damage I'll do. That is almost Cloud Cutter. That is slightly higher than Cloud Cutter damage, I think. Because if you include the burns here, it's a lot of extra damage. But Cloud Cutter also applies quite a bit of bleed. So it's really close, but it's essentially the same move, okay? It's essentially the same move. And not to mention, if this unit is Fanatic, you deal more damage. So yeah, really strong. But how this also works, right, is that if you are not at low sanity and you roll 4 hits, it becomes 16 minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, becomes 0. Now the thing that you need to know here is that this base power is your max, but there is actually a real base power for the move. So how it works, right, is you take 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4 will be what happens when you only have 1 coin left. So what happens is that you will always roll a 12 on this skill 2, even if you lose every single clash. So let me explain in a let me try to give an example. So for a moral enactment, right? Let's say we clashed. We have 4 coins at the start. I rolled 4 hits. I lose because it's a 0. And 0 loses to everything the enemy does unless he also got a negative number. So enemy beats me. Bam! I'm down to 3 coins. Let's say I roll 3 hits now. So that is minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. That is minus 12. So I rolled 4. Enemy beats me because 4 is pretty low. Now I'm at 2 coins. Now I have 16 minus 4 minus 4 because only 2 coins. So I have 8. Enemy still beats me because he rolled high, okay. And then now I got 16 minus 4 because I only have 1 coin left after I lost the clash. 16 minus 4 is 12. That is your actual base power. The base power you're looking at here is your max power. But 16 minus 4, base power minus coin modifier, is the actual base power. So it's actually 12 to clash, if you assuming you lost every single clash, which is not very likely, by the way, not very likely. So yeah, now that you understand how negative coins work, you understand that there is a huge amount of damage if you don't roll heads. And even if you roll heads, your base power is still pretty decent. This is 16 minus 4, that's 12 base power. 12 base power is pretty good for a move. Because most moves, right, as we've seen, is like starting at 3, 4, 6, but 12 as a base power is pretty good. And then we got Self-Destructive Purge, which is 30 minus 12, using the math I just explained. 30 minus 12 is about 18 base power. That's probably going to beat a lot of things. That's almost an Eagle's base power. And then here we have the pretty meh one, which is 8 minus 2, which is 6. So that one is more likely to lose than every one of these over here, because these are all double-digit base powers. So okay, explain the tails. So if you can understand this, then you can see explosive, right? 16 times 4, 30 times 3. If I ever get that, boom, the guy is dead. The guy is absolutely going to get slammed. Whew, I love Ninclair, man. He's such a unique design because he rolls tails and he has explosive damage. Okay. Anyway, talking about the skills in depth, right? You notice that he always loses SP when he hits. This is on a use, so even if you win or lose, doesn't matter, you will still lose SP. So his natural inclination is to go low SP. But you notice that he also does more damage if he's Fanatic. And how do you get Fanatic? Either use this and get a tail hit, or you whistle with Faust. If you whistle with Faust, you get Fanatic. Aha, now you're seeing some synergy, right? But then there's also a few characters that if you have nails on the enemy, you also give people Fanatic. So that's another synergy with the nail gang. So there's quite a lot of synergy here. I think he's a very well designed character. I really love it. Because he's designed to be controlled by Faust. To have Faust keep him in check. Rather than letting him corrode, right? If you don't use whistles every now and then, or you don't keep killing enemies to regenerate his SP a little bit, or use representation emitter, or use land of illusion, or whatever other SP generators, he is going to corrode, and then you don't really know then he's going to reset back to 0, and then you lose the explosive damage because you need to be at around maybe -40 sanity, -30 sanity to kind of reliably get this big ass damage here. Yeah, so you ideally don't want to be using the base ego. You want to be maintaining low sanity so that you can use these moves here. And Faust is one of the ways. Representation emitter and all the other SP generators are also some of the ways you can maintain this. So quite a tricky character to pilot. I believe in the Yet Another Limbus Company tier list, they put him as requiring a lot of mechanical skill, and I definitely admit that, yeah. So he performs abnormally well in maxi-max strategies, yep, agreed. But he also has a technical prowess requirement, which I also 100% agree. Same with Rabbit Heathcliff. Rabbit Heathcliff is a bit easier to manage because it's just body sack into quick suppression, not too hard to manage. There's some amalgalm management as well, but if you have a body sack, you can just keep replacing that. So you need some technical skill, but it's not as technical as Ninclair, honestly. Like every turn, I am always thinking, will my Ninclair corrode if I do this? Do I need to proc whistles now? Do I need to do something? Do I need to kill an enemy with Ninclair? Do I need to win a clash with Ninclair to maintain this? There's a lot of math that goes into maintaining him at low sanity, but not letting him corrode. Because if he corrodes, he does do the big damage with the corroded ego, but it's randomized sometimes. You can hit your own ally. And besides that, you also reset back to 0 sanity, which is not where you want to be. You want to be low, but not insane for optimal damage output, unless you are soloing and then you just let him corrode to reset stagger, and then boom, just corroded ego, corroded ego, corroded ego, corroded ego. Yeah, there's some strats that do that, so it's really up to you. If you leave him on his own, he will actually just corrode and then just do a bunch of damage. But if you put him with Faust or with the Corp gang, he is much more manageable and he can live. He can maintain low sanity and output decent damage. So that's not the maxi-max strat. It's kind of like you can give him like 2 actions maybe, and then you combine him with someone else, and then you let him corrode at some point to do a lot of damage and pray that it hits. That would be like the maxi-max strat. Or you can bring him solo and just pound away at some enemy, and then corrode to reset stagger, and then boom. Yeah, there's a lot of strats where you can use with him. He's very technical, and I don't want you guys to be afraid. Like even if you are having trouble piloting him, he does have like a beginner button with this defense skill here, enough. It does help you to heal back the SP in case you are not sure of the math. Or if you don't care at all, just let him corrode then. Like, screw it, man. If you're just farming or doing mirror dungeon, there's no turn counts or whatever, just let him corrode then. And then pray that he hits the enemy instead of you. Like, yeah, there's no worries, man. Like, if it's just for clearing, then yeah, bring him. But if it's for min-maxing railway turns, which not everyone is going to do, I feel like you should, yeah, you should just maybe okay, for min-max strats, maybe just do some math before you do anything. Unfortunately, that is the nature of this character. He wants to be low SP, and sometimes you want him to corrode, so you do need to plan quite a bit and then test around until you find the optimal strategy. But if you just want to be like a casual like me, maybe what I do is I actually just let him corrode. Like, I don't give a shit. You corrode, I pray it hits. Okay, boom, we're back to 0. Sure, let's go. Don't be too worried. This guy is just going to perform very, very well. It's just that if you have a lot of, if you have the technical skill to pilot him, you will get a lot more benefit. And I forgot to mention, right, the next enemy types have been kind of revealed. The mechanical amalgams, right? I saw a lot of claws, a lot of transformed robotic enemies in the future. So I would say that, yeah, definitely want to get this guy because he's about to go and destroy all of that, all of those enemy types because of this. And then if you combine it with Faust, you get even more damage here. It's kind of insane, actually. Oh my goodness, it's such an insane character. I love his design. I love the synergy. I love the technical skill required to manage him. One of my favorite characters of all time. As of now, though, yeah. In the future, I expect Project Moon to surprise me. Maybe they bring Xiao, bring Purple Tear, bring Gebura. I don't know. I want to see what else they got cooking. But yeah, okay, that's it for the IDs. So once again, I will say that for the base IDs and tanks, I rated them left to right. But for everyone above, I kind of just grouped them in whatever way or just randomly threw them around because it's very hard to distinct them because of all the strategies that you would want to use. In addition, you could also bring some of the lower level ones here for passives, for example. Hefe does have a very good passive. You can also bring some of the higher ones here for passives as well. Yeah, some of them also have some pretty decent passives. I believe Gregor adds like blunt damage or something along those lines, so not too bad to bring as well. Yeah, so that's it. Leave your comments below on what you think should or should not be here. As of now, I think based on railway and farming experience of Season 1, these will be the units that I'll put in a priority list. I would say that Chef is top priority because she is limited, and I think that's it. Besides that, everyone else is up to you, your shards, your money, your choice. This is just my opinions of all of these units, and I personally really like everyone up here, and I like using Corp as a roleplay team, but the Poise gang, I wish they were better. Yep. So that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching.